Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta and you're watching Business 360, where we break down the numbers, connect the dots, and give you the developments and the insights you need to navigate, adapt, and lead. Let's dive right in. Wall Street closed sharply lower overnight, led by Nvidia and other AI stocks as investors dial back expectations for U.S. rate cuts amid persistent inflation and mixed signals from the Federal Reserve. Walt Disney warns of a possibly prolonged dispute with YouTube TV over network distribution, adding pressure to its already challenged television business. Metro Pacific Chairman Manny Pangilinan says his group is in the early stages of studying a potential acquisition of the Villar family's PrimeWater operations. Monterrazas de Cebu, under 8990 Holdings and earlier linked to flooding during Super Typhoon Tino, is now facing intensified environmental scrutiny. First, let's take a look at how global financial markets performed overnight. Wall Street ended sharply lower on Thursday, with Nvidia and other AI heavyweights leading the sell-off. This as investors pulled back expectations for U.S. rate cuts amid fresh inflation worries. All three major U.S. indexes posted their biggest one-day drop in more than a month. The U.S. government has reopened after a record 45-day shutdown that had rattled investors and delayed economic data. Meanwhile, more Federal Reserve officials have been signaling hesitation about additional rate cuts, pushing market odds for a December cut down to near even. Policymakers cite sticky inflation and signs of a still resilient labor market, despite two rate cuts earlier this year.
This march towards, the future of AI is forcing people to invest lots and lots of money, and we don't know whether we'll get a return. So I think there's a little bit of that. The market's been really strong here so far year to date, and it was great last year. We're getting close to the end of the year. Perhaps we're seeing a little bit of profit take place. So I'm not overly concerned. I think the overall fundamentals are still solid. I think earnings growth is good. I think we'll get another Fed cut. And as we go into next year, we'll probably get more.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average sank 1.7%, the S&P 500 down 1.7% as well, and the Nasdaq sharply lower, down by 2.3%. Over in Europe, markets closed lower as well. The UK's FTSE 100 down 1.1% rather. The Germany's DAX down by 1.4%, and France's CAC 40 down by just 0.1%. Now, Walt Disney warns that its dispute with YouTube TV over channel distribution could drag on, a sign of the growing pressure on the global television industry as viewers and advertisers continue shifting to streaming. Disney shares fell 8.3% on Thursday. Disney channels have been dark on YouTube TV since October 30, affecting 10 million subscribers. In a carriage standoff that highlights how fees and content costs are squeezing traditional broadcasters worldwide. Disney also missed revenue estimates, reporting $22.5 billion for the quarter. Streaming and parks grew, but the TV division profit dropped 21%, and ESPN's income also fell. The company announced a 50% dividend hike and a $7 billion share buyback plan. The Disney YouTube TV dispute reflects a broader global trend. Linear television continues to shrink as platforms and networks fight for control of distribution and advertising. Here in the Philippines, analysts say this could mean tougher negotiations for local networks and cable operators and more pressure to accelerate digital and streaming strategies to stay competitive. Now, Michael Burry, the investor made famous by The Big Short, is shutting down his hedge fund, Scion Asset Management. He told investors he will liquidate the funds and return capital by year-end. SEC filings show Scion's registration was terminated on November 10 after managing $155 million in assets earlier this year. He posted on X that he is on to much better things on November 25th without offering any details. Here at home, business confidence today is being shaped less by economic data and more by governance, with allegations of systemic corruption, flood control controversies, and a surprise shakeup at the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Many in the business community are reassessing risk and halting expansion plans. We're also seeing public frustration build with a major rally set for the end of the month. Joining us now for a business temperature check is George Barcelon, the chairman of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Good morning, Mr. Barcelon. Thank you for being here with us.
Thanks for inviting me again.
Yeah, it's always good to hear from you. There are a lot of shifts, a lot of things going on, and let's get the beat on the street from you. We'll start with a confidence check in the face of, let's face it, a heavy corruption environment. Business leaders used to be optimistic, or at the very least cautiously optimistic, but now I'm hearing about companies halting expansion plans, delaying capex, and just waiting for governance clarity. How would you describe the mood today, and how much uncertainty is all of this just causing?
Well, I think you depict it very eloquently. The business sector, of course, is cautiously optimistic. But with what's going on, it's a bit of concern. Our value of our currency has depreciated quite a bit. And from the last reading of our NEDA on the GDP, we're supposed to have at least hit 5.2, 5.3%. That what came out was 4%. So that's a very discouraging sign. So having said that, but business is a going concern. We still keep on doing whatever we can, but we can feel the softness in the market.
Yeah, softness in the market, you put it right. And the Q3 GDP print kind of just puts the finger on that softness.
That's right.
Expectations were growth of about at least 5.2%.
Yes.
And the 4% was a huge shocker. That said, Mr. Barcelon, could you give us an indication of the economic cost of corruption, having seen the Q3 GDP print, having, feeling the halting expansion plans and the, delaying capex, and as people wait for governance clarity?
Well, those numbers I mentioned earlier is indicative already. So we're like anyone else, business sector, private sector, everybody's still looking at the outcome of the investigation that has been set forth. But it's moving very slowly. It's dragging to the point that there are people just commenting that you're not going to expect anything out of this, which I would disagree. I think there's going to be a hearing again on to be led by Senator Ping Lacson on the Blue Ribbon, and the ICI still continues. But I would like to suggest, because I've been hearing that the pace of investigation is kind of slow, because they have to be evidence-based. And thinking about people saying something and then retracting really doesn't help. But Maiki, we have laws. We have different laws that sort of incentivize informer. I think it's about time that we use that. Okay, we have laws like 2338 that's promulgated, passed way back in 1975. This is primarily dealing with BIR and Bureau of Customs.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of the BIR, there was a big leadership change suddenly. Just the other night, it was announced that BIR Commissioner Jun Lumagi was stepping down, and Commissioner Undersecretary Charlie Mendoza was stepping in. How is the business community interpreting this shift?
Well, honestly, we were surprised because the performance of Commissioner Jun Lumagi has been acceptable. He has been able to collect more than other commissioners. But I guess maybe he backed off due to the pressure on him. And again, frequently we hear about complaints coming from business sector that the two agencies, BIR and BOC,
very important agencies, BIR
important
and
agencies,
BOC.
And they are they do have the reputation of making it difficult for businessmen.
In fairness to former BIR Commissioner Jun Lumagi, he collected targets. He hit his targets.
Yes.
He collected the money, but it's another story how that money was used.
Well, that's true. That's the other side of the story. But I have to commend Commissioner Jun Lumagi for initiating the reaching out to private sectors. PCCI is one of the leading group that has a monthly meeting with some of the key BIR deputy commissioner, and sometimes even the commissioner join us. So I hope that will still continue with the new chairman
BIR
of
commissioner.
BIR. Yes,
So you're
Commissioner of
hoping
BIR.
that Charlie Mendoza continues that
Yes.
open dialogue.
Yes.
Apart from that, Mr. Barcelon, what does the PCCI want from the new BIR commissioner? What would you like to see him do within his first 100 days in office?
Well, whatever that's there to continue this dialogue, to help the private sectors there's a law has been passed on the payment of taxes, the ease of payment of taxes. I think that should continue, and if that can be enhanced, it would be even better. The businessman, generally speaking, has been reeling to the fact that, as I said, there's a softness in the market. And we're looking forward to the next 2 months, no? This month and December being Christmas months.
Yeah, the softness in the market that you said, this is Q4. This is when holiday spending comes in.
Right.
This is when things are supposed to get good to make up for, a weaker, earlier quarters. Do you expect that softness that we saw in Q3 to continue through Q4?
Well, I believe that, Filipinos act differently when it's Christmas. They're more willing to spend. Okay? When I say softness, is that I heard importers of goods that's usually in preparation for the Christmas, they've slowed down their importations in September and October. Okay, now
In
maybe they have
anticipation
enough
of weaker demand?
Yes, weaker demand, or maybe they have enough in their inventory to cover for the Christmas season.
Yeah, okay. All right. Going back to the massive corruption problem, we know it's there, but people are trying to understand how it happened. There is talk that, it's still talk. We have yet to see how this pans out. But there's talk that the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee will perhaps today focus on DBM Secretary Manny Pangilinan and perhaps even Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin. They're going to be coming under intense scrutiny. What are your thoughts on this, Mr. Barcelon?
Well, my thought is that when President BBM set up the motion on the investigation, and from his cue, I can see that he's saying that there should be no stone left unturned, no matter how high up. And I think this is exactly what they're doing now. You're seeing names being talked about that they will be investigated. So I don't know the specific, but I've been hearing, like as you mentioned earlier, the names that are going up to the executive level. So in a way, that's good. That gives confidence to the private sector that there's conviction from the president that this has to be done.
Yeah. Okay. Moving forward, on November 30, there's going to be a big rally. Cardinal Tagle is expected to fly in just to attend this rally. Do you think that his presence will galvanize the public?
Well, definitely. I think various academic institutions and churches have been very vocal about what had happened on the corruption. And having people like Cardinal Tagle to be there tells us that this issue is serious enough to warrant people like him. No? And as a matter of fact, not only the one for November 30, there's a scheduled rally coming on the 16th, 17th, and 18th. Mm-hmm. This is initiated, I believe, by the INC. Mm-hmm. So, but on the private sector side, we hope that this will be peaceful, and the government can take this seriously, the message that it's been sending, that it's time to act and to get some resolutions on these corruptions that have been in everybody's mind. Yeah. And not only that, it really projects a negative image for the country.
Yeah, absolutely. Is the private sector in any way afraid that if the public turnout is massive, that it may result to leadership changes within our government?
I don't think so. I think the private sector and well, generally speaking, the public sector is just that hoping that there will be some resolutions on this investigation.
So it doesn't have to lead to that?
Yes.
Okay. Will the PCCI support this rally, and will you personally be there, Mr. Barcelon?
Oh yes, we're supporting this rally, just to show solidarity with everyone, because you know what had happened. Personally, I feel that it's not just the corruption or the unlawful stealing of taxpayers' money. But, in a way, it's a corruption of our young. When they see something like this, when they see people can get away with it, that this can be swept under the rugs.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's one thing that I hope that at least this time we can show that, or the government can show that they're serious about it. I heard an interview of the former Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, and he stated that during the early stage of the Republic of Singapore, he has close friends, close associates who helped get the independence of Singapore. But unfortunately, one of the ministers, together with his family, was given a free travel. The minute he came back, he was arrested and he was jailed. So that sends a strong message.
He was a stern guy, Lee
to
Kuan
the
Yew.
public and even to the children.
Yeah.
That you can't really break the law and get away with it.
Yeah. Okay. All that said, Mr. Barcelon, we're out of time. What do you want from Malacanang? What can we expect within perhaps by December, by the end of December, by the first quarter of 2026? What do you want to see from this administration?
Well, I hope that the Malacanang can really step on the pedal, no matter what means that they can get. Because what I've been hearing is that they can only file cases against people that have strong evidence. And for those evidence, I think they should entice also people monetarily. As I mentioned, this informer incentives. Okay, the law states clearly that if somebody can give substantive information for the culprit to be arrested and for restitution, they get 10%. Or the maximum is 1 million, I think.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, you know how it is. If it's just among the boys, nobody dare to speak up. There's no evidence to be shown. So we end with nothing.
Okay.
So as I said, what would like that we can achieve for at least before the end of the year is those that are involved and those that need to face their day in court and to be indicted. And again, for the restitutions, that would be I think, a upside for the president and the government.
Yeah. Interestingly, as you said, money was the source of the problem, but it's also the solution, as you want whistleblowers to be compensated. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Barcelon.
Thank you.
We're taking a quick break. Please stay with us as we dive deep into the numbers and the narratives that matter most to your bottom line. Welcome back. Let's check on how Asian markets are doing this Friday morning. Right now, the Nikkei 225 is in the red, starkly down by almost 2%, tracking the losses in Wall Street overnight. As with all of Asia, Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index is down by 1%, Shanghai Composite lower by 0.2%, and Singapore's Straits Times Index lower by 0.5%. Now here at home, taking a look at the PSE Index as of 10:20, the main gauge is first, the PSE Index rose 0.2% Thursday, closing at 57.27, as investors continued to pick up oversold shares after the market's recent slide. Services led the gains, up more than 2%, followed by mining and oil, property, and industrials. Financials and holding firms were the only sectors that finished lower. Advancers outnumbered decliners 95-82, with value turnover at 6.5 billion pesos. Analysts say sentiment improved after the end of the U.S. government shutdown, which helped trigger more bargain hunting. In the near term, analysts expect trading to remain choppy, with any rebound likely capped by ongoing governance risks and cautious investor appetite, even as technicals show the market nearing oversold levels. Taking a look at the main gauge right now, as of 10:21, the PSE Index is in the green, bucking the downtrend in Asia, up by 0.6% to 57.61. The broader all shares index, however, is in the red, sharply lower, down by 2%. Interesting disalignment there. All shares index is at 33.33. Taking a look at the sub indices, we're looking at a bit of a mixed picture. All are trading to the upside, except for the mining and oil counter, which is down by 1%. Trading volume is thin at 97 million shares, valued at 742 million pesos. So far, market breadth is bullish. We've got 75 advancers, 45 decliners, and 51 stocks unchanged. On the currency front, the peso opened at 58.95. This against the dollar, up from its previous close of 59 flat. Overseas, European Union states are scrapping duty exemptions on low-value imports to slow the flood of cheap goods from China. The under 150 euros duty exemption could be removed as early as next year, alongside a proposed €2 handling fee per parcel. The EU received 4.6 billion small packages last year. French Finance Minister Roland Lescour says that the move protects consumers and is a big step toward EU economic sovereignty. Romania did not wait for EU-wide action and has already implemented its own €5 fee on small parcels. Now, on the corporate front, JG Summit Holdings is taking a massive one-time hit as it books an estimated 114.3 billion peso impairment loss on its failed Batangas petrochemical plant. The non-cash charge will be recorded in its 2025 year-end results as the company prepares to sell or repurpose the troubled asset. Bilyonaryo Lance Gokongwei, who leads the conglomerate, calls 2025 a reset year. He says the group will absorb the loss at once and shift focus to food, airlines, and real estate. Despite the petrochemical woes, JG Summit reported a 24% jump in recurring core profits to 15.4 billion pesos after losses narrowed this year. Metro Pacific Investments Corporation is in talks with the Villar Group for a potential acquisition of PrimeWater, a move that could reshape the country's water sector if it pushes through. This comes as MPIC continues to expand its footprint and consolidate key utility assets nationwide. With over 70 water assets around the country, MPIC is still deciding whether to buy only the bigger, profitable properties or to take the entire portfolio. Analysts say that the deal could be profitable for MPIC, pointing to its track record with Maynilad. Ultra-Bilyonaryo Manny Pangilinan says they're still in preliminary review and likely to craft an offer within the week. A new survey by the Social Weather Stations shows 84% of Mega Manila respondents believe that there is widespread corruption in the government, the highest level recorded by the SWS in 25 years. The findings underscore a deepening crisis of trust at a time when governance, not economic data, is driving public sentiment and business confidence. Public perception has sharply worsened amid flood control controversies, with more Filipinos questioning the administration's integrity and oversight. Cabinet-level officials are seen as the most involved in graft, with 73% of the respondents pointing to top management. And 75% say government employees who ask for bribes are the primary initiators of corruption, reinforcing the view that the problem is systemic and not isolated. Juan Ponce Enrile, one of the most enduring power brokers in Malacanang and also one of the most polarizing figures in Philippine political history, has passed away. He died at 103, ending a public life shaped by influence and shadowed by controversy. His death is significant because Enrile had long been seen as a central force within palace politics, someone believed to have influenced internal decision-making and the political protection of key officials. With his passing, questions are emerging about shifting alliances inside Malacanang and what this could mean for governance moving forward. A Harvard-trained lawyer, Enrile rose to power as defense secretary and played a central role in the 1972 declaration of martial law, a period marked by widespread human rights abuses. He later broke with Marcos Sr. in 1986 and helped trigger the People Power Revolution. His career remained deeply divisive, from coup plots in the 1980s to the Coco Levy controversy to plunder and graft cases that were eventually dismissed. He returned to government in 2022 as Chief Presidential Legal Counsel under President Marcos Jr. Human rights groups, martial law survivors, and coconut farmers continue to seek accountability for abuses and alleged economic plunder linked to his years in power. Juan Enrile's passing closes a chapter on a figure whose influence and controversies will continue to shape Philippine politics for generations. Now, in other news, a major real estate project in Cebu is under fire for serious environmental breaches, raising broader questions about safety, oversight, and accountability in hillside developments. Monterrazas de Cebu, which is controlled by 8990 Holdings and owned by the Yu and Martinez families, is now moving to delist from the stock exchange. This comes as the project sits at the center of a controversy. Regulators have issued a show cause order, a notice of violation, and a stoppage order. The project allegedly breached 10 of 33 environmental clearance conditions, cut 734 trees, leaving just 11, and failed to secure a new clearance after shifting from housing to condominiums. Authorities also cite possible violations of the Forestry Code and Clean Water Act, including the absence of a required water discharge permit. The DENR says that this case could have wider implications as it reviews other upland and high-risk developments across the region. Now, the government is stepping up its crackdown on illegal online gambling, and some of the country's most followed influencers are now under active investigation. The Cybercrime Investigation Center is referring 15 social media personalities to the Philippine National Police for promoting unlicensed online gambling platforms. The list includes vloggers Tony Fowler and Juamos Cruz, as well as esports player John Mar Villaluna. Authorities say illegal gambling sites are using live streams, referral links, and online challenges to target Filipino users, including minors. Operators and promoters now face possible charges under the cybercrime law, illegal gambling rules, and estafa. And that's it for Business 360. I'm Maiki Oreta. Thank you for joining us and keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.